Yes, you read the thumbnail right. Apple have finally released an update to the iPad mini 4. The creatively titled iPad mini 5 is going to be out in a couple of weeks' time. But what are the specs, and should you upgrade from your iPad mini 4 in the cockpit to the 5? Let's take a look. So Apple's iPad mini 4 has been a part of my flight bag for a couple of years now, and I know a lot of you out there use the iPad mini 4 as your electronic flight bag as well. So we've all been looking forward to this update. In fact, this has been around since September 2015. And after Apple's announcement in October last year when I made this video, sad that there wasn't an update to the iPad mini 5. There were lots of updates to the iPad Pros, new laptops, Lana Del Rey sang a really nice song as I discussed before, but no iPad mini 5. Until today. So what are the specs? How much does it cost? And should you upgrade? Let's start with the specs. The new iPad mini 5, it comes in 3 different colors. You can choose from silver, space gray, or gold. Just colors. Anyway, as with most iPads and iPhones and iPad minis, they come in 2 variants in terms of network connectivity. So you can get the Wi-Fi only version or the Wi-Fi and cell version. Now, a lot of manufacturers of electronic flight bags recommend you get the Wi-Fi and cell version if you are going to be using this device in flight. It depends on the application that you're using, but I generally buy the one that has the Wi-Fi and the cell connectivity. Then a couple of new features. This one doesn't have Face ID for face unlocking as we thought it might do, like some of the new iPhones do. It does have a new fingerprint scanner, which the iPad mini 4 didn't, so you can use your fingerprint to do the biometric unlocking if you want. And it has the new faster A12 processor as well, which is going to hopefully make things like moving your moving map in flight, recalculations on the fly, updates to your flight tracks, all those things that require a little bit of processor power. Hopefully this new A12 processor is going to make things a whole lot faster. How much does it cost? Well, the Apple iPad mini 5 starts at $599. So looking at the pricing on the Australian Apple website, you choose your color basically first of all, then you can choose whether you want the 64 gig or the 256 gig. I think the extra storage, you're going to probably want it after a while, especially if you're loading maps and you want data downloads, you want to be able to have offline access to certain charts and maps, etc. I always think it's better to err on the larger side, but it's a cost decision for you. So have a look at your EFB and see how much data you need to store. But if I'm going to go ahead and buy one of these, I'd probably go for the 256 gig option. So already you're adding to that price of $599. Then you get your options of Wi-Fi or cell. The Wi-Fi only version is $819, but like I say, it's recommended not to get the Wi-Fi only version if you're using it in flight. So the moment you choose the Wi-Fi and cell version plus the 256 gig, you're looking at 1,019 Australian dollars. I'll put the conversions up here so you can see in your local currency. Now, one of the good features of the new iPad mini 5, which I think is going to be useful in the cockpit, is it's compatible with the new Apple Pencil. No, that's not quite right. It's not compatible with the new Apple Pencil. It's compatible with Apple Pencil. There's 2 versions of Apple Pencil. The original one, the first generation, is compatible with the new iPad mini 5. But if you've got the 2nd gen Pencil, it won't work with this version of the iPad mini 5. Now, an update may come out which supports the newer version in the future, but for now, don't go buying the new version of the Pencil if you're going to buy the new version of the iPad mini. So the question is then, should you go out and buy the brand new Apple iPad mini 5? No. Well, not yet anyway. What you need to do first is check with the people who make your electronic flight bag and just make sure that the iPad mini 5 is compatible with the software. Now, because it's just been released today as I'm recording this, it's unlikely they'd have said anything just yet, but keep an eye on their website or write to their Contact Us, their support line, and ask them, is the new iPad mini 5 going to run your software correctly? So then say it is supported and you do want to buy the new iPad, should you spend like what is basically 1,000 Australian dollars on a brand new piece of kit for the cockpit? Well, here's the thing, you can do trade-ins with your old iPads. Apple have said you can trade in iPads to get a reduced cost for the new iPad mini 5. So talk to Apple, tell them the version of the iPad that you want to trade in and see what money you can get off the price. However, before you do that, just consider this. If you do have an iPad mini that you use in the cockpit currently, if it's your only one and you're thinking of buying the new iPad mini 5, just consider whether you want to hold on to your existing iPad mini as a backup in the cockpit. So maybe just consider, is having that backup in the cockpit better than that small amount of money you might save by trading in your old version? That's something you need to decide, but it's worth considering. dark here. It's super grey down here in Melbourne. I was thinking of going flying today, but now, will I be buying the new iPad mini 5 and the Apple Pencil, and will that be my go-to device in the cockpit? Yes and maybe. So yes, I am going to buy the new Apple iPad mini 5. I think the faster processor, the better resolution on the screen, you know, it's going to hopefully run faster in the cockpit, which is what I want from a device. I am going to keep my Apple iPad mini 4 and use that as a backup though. So I have my two devices in the cockpit, one as a primary, one as a backup. Am I going to get the Apple Pencil? Look, I've seen that work and I've seen it not work. I actually flew with someone a couple of weeks ago and they were trying to write down a clearance and the Apple Pencil wasn't working correctly with the iPad. So look, I like paper and pencil. I like having that backup there. I might try the pencil and see if it works with my type of flying. But to start with, no, I don't think I'm going to spend the extra $145 to get the pencil on top, just so I can do purely electronic clearances. I've got paper in the cockpit anyway. I always carry pens and pencils, so I might just save the money and maybe down the line. But to start with, probably not. Okay, let me know your thoughts down below. Are you going to upgrade to the Apple iPad mini 5? Are you going to use the Apple Pencil? Do you use it in the cockpit currently? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Share your thoughts below. It helps the community hearing stories from everyone else who uses these devices. If you found that useful, do give us a like, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, do click on the subscribe button. Otherwise, I'll be back a bit later in the week, hopefully with some flying in Echo Yankee Zulu.